Meanwhile, Mexico's president again today reiterated her opposition to Maduro's extradition to the United States.
La posición de México frente a cualquier forma de intervención es firme.
Claudia Sheinbaum went on to say she was against any kind of intervention, including, of course, in Mexico. Trump over the weekend hinted at military action there to combat drug cartels.
Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it, but unfortunately the cartels are very strong.
Sheinbaum says Mexico is a sovereign country and is cooperating with the United States on drug trafficking and security. Ana Paula Ordorica is a Mexican journalist and political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us. Like our prime minister, Mexico's president, of course, is trying to handle Donald Trump's trade war and tariffs, but she has been quite blunt in condemning U.S. intervention in Venezuela, and I take it you're probably not surprised.
Hi, Ian. Absolutely not surprised at all. And I think trying to find any president to comply with international law is precisely what has to be done. Having said that, I feel like you can condemn the intervention and still think that Maduro had to leave power in Venezuela.
Yeah, and that is a common theme we're hearing from a lot of people, including from Venezuelans. But I wonder in terms of the political situation in Mexico, I mean, we know in Canada so well how the tightrope that Mexico's president and Canada's prime minister have to walk in trying to kind of defend our sovereignty, but at the same time trying to placate Donald Trump when it comes to tariffs. Is that a difficult path for your president to walk right now, especially given what's happened in Venezuela?
I feel, for example, Mexico has a tighter rope to walk than, for example, Prime Minister Carney, because Mexico does have a problem with security and with the presence of organized crime. What I feel is that President Claudia Sheinbaum cannot continue to play with ambiguity, claiming she's fighting against organized crime, while at the same time tolerating figures within her party and within the previous government of Andrés Manuel López Obrador, her mentor, and tolerating their relationship with organized crime. So I feel like she has to be more blunt and more decisive in her repudiation against anyone that has any nexus, any collaboration, anything that links them with organized crime, because we are dealing with Donald Trump, that is a leader that we don't know what his next steps are going to be, but he clearly has been saying, watch out Cuba, watch out Colombia. And about Mexico's president, he said very clearly, she's a nice lady, but she's not running the country. If that's true or not, that's for a future analysis. But that's what the president of the United States is thinking.
Yeah, and he went beyond that, right? He said if Mexico doesn't, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically if it doesn't kind of control the flow of drugs out of Mexico into the United States, then the United States is going to have to do something about it. How did those comments land in Mexico? Like, were they the headline today on newscasts? And what do you know about the reaction of people in Mexico to that?
Every time Donald Trump has said this, because obviously this is not the first time he has said it, it makes headlines. It's on the front pages of the newspapers and on newscasts, obviously, because, I mean, whenever the president of the United States refers to Mexico, we pay attention. But especially when somebody like Donald Trump is saying these things, because you never know when or how his words are going to become actions. So it's something that worries Mexico, yes. It does not generate rally around the flag effect, because some people agree with what Donald Trump is saying. Who is running the country? And this makes for a polarized environment even in Mexico.
And let's finish with this. Donald Trump and his government have shown they are willing to take bold steps that some people feel is a clear violation of international law with their intervention with Maduro in Venezuela. Are people in Mexico worried that Donald Trump may actually carry through on a threat to, quote unquote, do something if Mexico doesn't get control of the drug trade?
Some people are worried and some people are hopeful, which for me is something very worrying. I feel like a U.S. intervention is not a good news for any country. But some people feel like it's the only option. It's something that mimics a little bit of what we are seeing in Venezuela. You know, how people in Venezuela, their first reaction was not to be appalled at an intervention and at how their president or the autocrat was taken outside of the country. So some people in Mexico are feeling frustrated and think that this is the only option to rescue Mexico from organized crime. I personally do not agree, but that's part of the feeling that I'm seeing here.
Ana Paula Ordorica, thank you very much for speaking with us this evening.
Thank you, Ian.